What's the Church of Scientology so afraid of?
This is SPTV.
SPTV is back. And again, just for a little bit of nostalgia and some lightheartedness, we have this as well.
Balake, where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Ron.
Ron, and going to war indeed. Let me jump right to the headline of the update, which is that Jane Doe 3 is absolutely crushing it on cross-examination. And I'm not just saying that, guys. I mean, I know you guys know I'm very open and transparent about the fact that I'm covering these proceedings from a very biased perspective. But of course I'm biased because I know the people involved and I already know that Danny Masterson did this stuff. I'm not just here as an uninterested observer. However, I am here as an observer, and I'm not just here to blow smoke up anyone's butt. It doesn't do me any good or you guys any good for me to sit here and say everything's going great and everyone's doing wonderful just to, you know, come back and not have a guilty verdict. Like, I'm here to provide on the ground actual observations, hopefully in a way that's constructively helpful to someone. And I'm telling you, Jane Doe 3 is absolutely crushing it on cross-examination. Sean Hawley is doing the cross, and I dare say she has not scored a single point. I'm listening to all of these proceedings, putting myself in the jury pool. It's not, I do think I'm kind of good at doing that. I do think I can put my biases aside and go, if I was sitting there and I knew nothing about Scientology, I knew nothing about Danny Masterson, innocent until proven guilty all the way, how would these questions and these answers be affecting me and impacting my opinion about the credibility of the victims and how would it impact my belief that Danny Masterson did these things? I don't think Sean Hawley has succeeded in sowing one seed of doubt in Jane Doe 3's testimony. And I do actually have some specifics that I'd like to give, but that's the headline, guys. I mean, you can stop watching now. Let's see here. So the cross-examination, the main body of the cross-examination started after the lunch break, and it went right into the subject of Jane Doe 3 having contacted FBI Special Agent Shannon Welch. And we learned some things that I hadn't heard before. It's possible this information was out there, I just didn't see it, which is that Jane Doe 3 was actually put in touch with this FBI Special Agent because it was one of her best friend's mother's goddaughter. It's so funny. It always reminds me of a scene of Spaceballs when I hear people talking about, connected to a person who's connected to a person who's connected to a person. If you get the joke, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so that is actually how she was ended up talking to someone at the FBI. It wasn't just she walked into some FBI field office and said, I need help. She had one of her best friends who Jane Doe 3 basically told everything that was going on, including her concerns about the LAPD and concerns about harassment from Scientology and from Danny Masterson. And she said, well, I think it's my mom's goddaughter is Special Agent Shannon Welch with the FBI. So that was interesting. They spent, and I'm going to cover this ground a little later this evening with my attorney friend, Zach Morgan, because I want him to explain for me why intelligent, competent, experienced attorneys would be spending so much time on the kind of stuff that they're spending time on that's seeming to have no impact on the proceedings. They're spending a stupid amount of time talking about whether Jane Doe arms were pinned behind her head at a 90-degree angle, or was it more like this? Could you describe it as a field goal? A stupid amount of time talking about this. And I mean, as it was going on, you sort of get the impression that what they're trying to do is just catch the witness in as many contradictions as possible, or seeming contradictions, no matter how minor or meaningless. But you do have to ask yourself, no matter how minor or meaningless, I mean, especially when the line of questioning isn't resulting in, it's not producing fruit. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The positions of the arms. Was the hand like this? Was it like this? Was it like this? Could it be described as a fist, a loose fist, a closed fist, an open fist, a slap, a punch, a smack, a hit? Mind-numbing line of questioning that was going nowhere productive for the defense. I mean, and this is one of these things where I can go, what do I know? It does, it doesn't matter if this is one of those things of what do I know? Because what do the jurors know? The jurors know less than I do. You don't have to be some, legal academic, some esteemed jurist. None of that shit matters. You're talking to 12 jurors. Okay. I didn't get the impression any of those 12 jurors gave a good goddamn whether her arms were at a 90-degree angle, a 75-degree angle. None of it mattered. It was ridiculous. Okay. And the more time, honestly, that the defense spent on this, the more, if I was on the jury, I'd be like, if this is all you got, move the hell on. Like, if you have something better to get to, you better get to it. Because if you're spending this much time on this, it seems like you've got nothing. Now, of course, we'll find out what they have when they keep going. But honestly, I mean, if I'm in the jury, I'm going to be like, really? Okay. So let's see. We got Shannon Welch, the arm positions, the fist positions. Oh my goodness. And okay. So there was a point where Sean Hawley's asking Jane Doe 3 about this particular interview that was done. I think it was with the Austin PD. And Sean Hawley keeps trying to get Jane Doe 3 to answer in the affirmative to questions that are asking for too much detail in order for Jane Doe 3 to be able to answer in the affirmative. For example, would you say this interview took about 3 hours? Well, Jane Doe 3 has learned from the last time she was cross-examined that you have to be extremely precise in your answers. And if you don't know, don't guess. If you don't know, you just have to say you don't know. So, it'd be like, did this interview take about 3 hours? I don't know. Well, do you know how long it took? I don't know how long it took. Well, could you say it took about 3 hours? Maybe, but I don't know. Okay. Would you say it took more than 2 hours? Probably, sure. And so because Sean Hawley, after managed to nail it down that there was an agreement that this interview took multiple hours, then at every subsequent point that Sean Hawley would make reference to something that was discussed in the interview, she would try to get Jane Doe 3 to go on the record for approximately how far into the interview was this discussed. Would you say this was the 2 hour mark? Would you say it was the 1 hour mark? And it was just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Now, if you just read this testimony in writing, you might go, wow, it sounds like Jane Doe 3 just doesn't know anything. It sounds like she's just, I don't like it. It might sound like it's a cop out. But when you see it in person and you get the testimony in person, no. Jane Doe 3 is coming across as intensely believable, empathetic, and honest. She's going out of her way to be exceedingly accurate and honest. And the best way to be accurate and honest when the defense attorney is trying to nail you down on something without, you don't understand why she's trying to, you say, I don't know. And it honestly has just made Sean Hawley look a little bit silly that she keeps asking questions that you can already predict the answer is going to be, I don't know. And it's also not important. It's just not important. Anyway, I'm going to ask Zach Morgan to try to help me understand why the hell this line of questioning is happening. Okay, let's see. The next note that I have here, it's kind of a quote, and this quote is intended to jog my memory about something. So let me just read the quote. I think this is a quote from Jane Doe 3. I wish I understood that the very first interview I gave with, the detectives or the prosecutors, that you have to make very sure you are very literal and that you have to give all the details because respectfully, someone like you is going to challenge me on them. I did not know that. I don't like to talk about things. It takes me a long time to speak about things. And I was doing the best I can and being honest. And then she said, I'm sorry, I forgot your question. But this was an incredible moment in her testimony because it sort of blew a hole in the entire cross-examination strategy of Sean Hawley. Because Sean is trying to catch Jane Doe 3 in so-called discrepancies between the very first interview she ever gave and other subsequent interviews. It's just that Sean Hawley's definition of a discrepancy doesn't seem to be two things that actually contradict each other. It seems to be you didn't mention this at first, but then you mentioned it later. That's not really a discrepancy. This is something, when Jane Doe 3 was testifying to this, I felt it was so freaking relatable, because put yourself in the shoes of someone who's never dealt with law enforcement before, who, due to their involvement in Scientology, has actually a pretty deep distrust of law enforcement. Combine that with the intense emotional stress and distress of now having to talk to strangers you're not sure you can trust, about a horrible thing that happened to you. And Jane Doe 3 was basically saying, look, I didn't know the rules of engagement here. I didn't know that, like, I was basically just answering the questions that were asked. And sure, they weren't just asking me yes or no questions, but they were asking me questions and I would give an answer. It doesn't mean I told them every single thing that was possibly to say about that answer, every thought that I had about it, every possible thing I could have recalled, every detail. I didn't know that my first crack at that, I want to say crack at the apple, but that's not an expression, is it? Bite at the apple? My first bite at the apple was supposed to be unimpeachable. I was never supposed to remember new things, or I was never supposed to bring up anything later on, even if I already remembered it before. And I'm just sitting there the whole time. Again, I'm sitting there as myself, but also trying to put myself in the shoes of a member of the jury and go, I 100% agree with everything she's saying right now. It's then it's just not realistic to think, oh my God, you should have said absolutely anything and everything there was to say the first time. And I'm going to sit here and basically sort of call you a liar for not having done that. I was like, on the one hand, you go, that's not realistic. It's not believable. It's not relatable. And then your second thought is, and this is the best you got? Like, get to the good shit. And if you're not getting to the good shit, I'm going to assume that you don't have it. I got to tell you, Jane Doe 3 is doing even better on cross than she did on direct. And that's not to say she wasn't good on direct. Sean Hawley was, there was a fear that she was coming in as some sort of a big superstar and she was just going to annihilate on the cross. And it's just not happening, guys. It's just not happening. There was also, I have to tell you this funny moment. Okay. So Sean goes, now in this interview, you said Danny Masterson was, and I'm going to use, I don't want to use the real words, not just because of YouTube, but because I'm not comfortable saying some of these words. We'll say this. In this interview, you said Danny Masterson was having intercourse with me. And then in this other interview, you said he was trying to have intercourse with me. She goes, Jane Doe 3, can we agree that doing something and trying to do something are not the same thing? And Jane Doe 3 was like, no, I'm sorry. She's like, look, I'm Southern. I'm Southern. This is just how I talk. She goes, if I'm grocery shopping and you call me on the phone and you say, what are you doing right now? She's going to say, she goes, I'm going to say, I'm trying to grocery shop. I thought this was great. I thought this was absolutely great. Because Sean Hawley thought that she had her on like a slam dunk. You couldn't possibly squirm out of this one. And she's like, no. In this context, doing something and trying to do something are the same thing. And then that's where she also said, this is just an example of, I was just explaining things, answering questions in a natural way, the way I normally would, that I didn't realize I had to be very literal and I had to be very careful. I thought I was talking to people who understood what I was saying and was on my side, if you will, and wasn't going to nitpick every single word. And I know I'm being repetitive here, guys. Every single thing Sean Hawley has tried to impeach Jane Doe 3 on has had an explanation similar to the one I just gave, where you go, oh yeah, I can totally see that. Here you said you woke up. Here you said he got on top of you. You woke up with him on top of you. And here you said You were trying to sleep when he rolled on top of you. And you're like, oh my God, this is what, like, it's almost, you get to a point where you're like, you're nitpicking details. Are you saying that these details means these incidents didn't occur? Anyway, I feel like I'm saying the same stuff over and over again. It went on and on like this. And Jane Doe 3 did not get flustered. I mean, even when she was getting a little flustered, she didn't get flustered about getting flustered, if you know what I mean. Anyway, it was really great stuff. Really, really great stuff. Let me see if there's something else here. Oh, yeah, I just have a note here. Why bicker so much about the tiny details that don't really seem to invalidate the overall event? I'm going to talk to Zach Morgan about that. Oh, and then Sean Hawley thought she had a gotcha on here. So there was something at the end, right towards the end of the day. She said, now, look, is it true that, Danny Masterson did what he did on this date? You reported it to Scientology on this date. You did your ethics program on this date. And you never said anything to anyone about that. You never said anything to a soul inside of Scientology or outside of Scientology until 10 years later when you told your husband, Cedric. And she said, yes, that's right. And then Jane Doe 3 explained why that was. And then Sean Hawley thought she had her on a gotcha here. Because part of Jane Doe 3's explanation for why she wouldn't have told anybody was the repercussions from Scientology. And Sean Hawley tried to get her on the fact of, but what about all your friends and family members who weren't in Scientology? I'm very seriously paraphrasing here, but Sean Hawley was essentially like, your reason for not telling people this, repercussions from Scientology wouldn't have applied to your non-Scientologist friends or your non-Scientologist family members, and yet you didn't tell them either. Now, guys, I'm being much more argumentative here than Sean Hawley was, because she's not allowed to be argumentative like that. But that's why I'm saying I'm seriously paraphrasing. Even this was not a gotcha. Jane Doe 3 had a great response. And honestly, I've got all my little notes here. I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to pull up exactly what she said. Let me see. I just had a note that she very, very, very deftly handled that question in a way where you could tell Sean Hawley was sort of banking on this being a gotcha. And it was a nothing. And the last example of something I'll give you that I have to ask Zach Morgan, why in the hell are they wasting time on this? In the very, very beginning of Jane Doe 3's cross, she was asked what was the age difference between her and Danny. And she said she thought it was something like a 3-year age difference. And honestly, I can't remember who was older at this point. Actually, I do. So Jane Doe 3 was born in 70. Danny's 2 years older. At the end of the cross, for today, because the cross is still going on, Sean Hawley wanted Jane Doe 3 to testify to the fact that Danny is actually only 2 years and 1 month older than her, not 3 years. Guys, I ask you, does this sound like a defense that has a strong defense? Now, look, I know in the first trial, I was very quick to be like, the defense has nothing. They're getting nothing done. And look how that worked out. It worked out, in a mistrial. But you know what didn't work out? It didn't work out in an acquittal. So anyhow, even though the first trial didn't go the way I hoped it was going to go, and even though a lot of what I'm saying now is similar to what I said the first time, I'm just telling you guys, she's doing a great job. She's doing an absolutely great job. Unfortunately, Sean Hawley said at the end of the day today that there's still a lot more to go, which I think was confusing to everyone, including the judge. How in the hell could there be a lot more to go? They're already scraping the bottom of the barrel. So yeah, I mean, that was it. That was it. And then we broke. Okay, let me get to the super chats here, guys, and then we'll wrap it up because I still do have to do my live stream with Zach this evening. Sorry, guys, bear with me while I scroll. I know I saw him. Okay, SPTV Tattoo Warrior. Should I buy Jane Doe 3 an SPTV tattoo? Well, I guess you'll have to ask her. I'm assuming we'll all be free to refer to them by their normal names, except for Jane Doe 1 after the trial is over. Lori plays. Does Zach know his actual full name is my attorney friend, Zach Morgan? It is funny. That is how I always refer to him. I feel like it's too presumptuous for me to go, I'll have to talk to Zach Morgan, because everyone's going to be, 90, a large percentage of people watching every one of my videos every day is watching for the first time. I mean, at least 25%. So I say, my attorney friend, Zach Morgan. I think it's a perfect introduction. And I'll just have to let him know that is his actual full name. Let's see. Andrew Humphrey, are there more people on your side or the defense? This is interesting. Interesting question, because it's hard to define it, because Danny has 2 rows that basically fits 10 people that is dedicated to him. Now, the prosecution, technically for the prosecution, the entire rest of the courtroom is for them. But it's a combination of like for them and literally anyone who wants to come and watch. So I don't know how to define who's there for the defense. Technically speaking, I'd probably have to say there's more people there for Danny, because it's all the same characters showing up every day. His family and a couple friends. The courtroom's not full, you guys. It's quite empty, in fact. All you guys in LA, come on down. There were 3 people there today who were there for SPTV, and it was fun getting to meet them. And some of those guys will be there tomorrow as well. Come on down, guys. Come and say hi. Come and show some love for the Jane Does. Cat ACDC fan, this is also fascinating. Thank you for not only being informative, but also very entertaining. Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't entertaining, why would anybody watch? Maybe it would be informative enough that people would watch anyway, but I enjoy watching entertaining comment. I call it infotainment. I want the information, but I want to enjoy getting it as well. Thank you, Cat ACDC fan. Big dude. I'm South African, and the dues. Wait. I am South African, and the dues. Oh, Afrikaans for see you next Tuesday is disowned. Oh, yeah. I'm assuming you're talking about Graham Brewer. Oh, yeah. Graham Brewer. Anyway, welcome to South Africa. Afrikaans has to be my most favorite accent in the entire world, by the way. It's the best. Melissa Garcia, thank you for all the updates and for being so informative. Bring back the blue shirt. I would, except I've already told the world that I only have one of those shirts. So if you see me wearing it multiple days in a row, you're going to have to kind of wonder what's going on. Now, if I'm home, then obviously I can wash that shirt. But I'm not home, and everyone knows it. So I can't just wear the same freaking shirt every day. You know what I'm saying? And I haven't even asked the hotel how much they charge to do a load of laundry. But we'll get there eventually. Thank you, Melissa. SPTV Tattoo Warrior. So if lawyer, anatomy lover lady Holly, what are we talking about? Oh, you must have been reading the actual questions. In Sean Holly's defense, her questions and how she's asking them probably sound much worse when you just read them in writing than when you hear them in person. She's actually doing exceedingly well in not being offensive or like aggro or confrontational. Like if I was a juror, I wouldn't be offended by anything Sean Holly has said so far, to her credit. Okay, so if lawyer, anatomy lover lady Holly thinks it's hard, Ross examining JD3, wait till she gets to our Claire Bear. Oh, for sure. For sure. By the way, I have a pretty high confidence level that Claire will be testifying, hopefully, early next week. That's what I'm counting on. Lisa Robinson says, hopes this trial helps bring down Scientology. Well, I think it'll be one of the many stepping stones to get to getting there. Thank you, Lisa Robinson. Goddess of TGAC. Your live message to Graham Brewer was one of the sexiest, most badass things I've ever seen. Well, thank you, Goddess of TGAC. I try. I do my best. I do what I can. All right. Cyborg Scientology. Live locally and want to attend the trial, but is the court getting packed each day? Fear I'll arrive and will be a huge lineup to go in for a tiny court. It's not a tiny court. There's tons of seats. There's tons of room. At no point on any of the 2 days was there not a place for someone to sit if someone else had walked into the courtroom. So come on down and you'll see me there. I mean, you can't miss me. Chi-Town native, Wow, so proud of Jane Doe 3, and I'm enjoying your passion and play-by-play. Who's up tomorrow? Who are we going to expect tomorrow? With any luck, Jane Doe 3 will finish. We will get the expert witness, Dr. Ziv. She's the one about trauma and counterintuitive or non-intuitive behavior after sexual trauma. And we should see Jane Doe 3's husband, Cedric, testify. And then with a little bit of luck, I'm hoping that Jane Doe 1 starts on Friday morning or, Friday afternoon, something on Friday. Okay, Cindy. What? Cindy, I'm sorry. I always know that I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. Cheers to all your hard work exposing Scientology. Well, Cindy, that super chat denomination earns you a lot more characters than that. So next time, if you're going to, donate so much there, tell me how to pronounce your name so I don't feel bad about it. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Okay, scrolling on down. Don't want to miss any. Mel, I'm a proud former journalist, and I'm very impressed with your coverage of this case. Trials are exhausting and tricky. Your dedication is awesome. Thank you so much. I have to say, I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just used to sitting a lot. I hear people talking about how exhausting it is to be in court all day. We never have to sit for more than 90 minutes at a time. Court starts at about 9. There's a morning break sometime around 10:30. We break for lunch at 11. We start up again at 1:30. So 1:30, 2:30, 3:30. By the time you come back for lunch, there's only 2.5 hours left in the day, and you got a break in the middle there. So it's actually not even that exhausting. So it's actually been quite bearable. So anyway, but thank you for the super chat. Yeah, it's been quite pleasant for me. Okay, Jerry Nodine, aka Sarasota Jerry. Hey, Aaron, yesterday I heard the term out exchange. Is this a Scientology term, and what does it mean? Yes, it is a Scientology term, and it has come up a lot in the testimony so far. Out exchange means you are receiving more than you are giving. In Scientology, in means something that should be there and is there, or something that should be being done and is being done. And out is the opposite, something that should be there and it's not there, or something that should be being done and it's not being done. In Scientology, there are 4 conditions of exchange. The first condition is criminal exchange, no exchange. You receive something, you give nothing in return. The second condition of exchange is partial exchange. You receive something and you give something that was less valuable than what you received. It's slightly better than criminal exchange. Condition of exchange number 3 is fair exchange. You give and receive things of equal value. That is considered normal exchange or WOG world exchange. Condition exchange 4 is exchange in abundance, which is you deliver something that was better, more better than what was expected, and that is considered to be the only condition of exchange that guarantees success as an individual or as an organization. And Jane Doe 3 was told that her job as Danny Masterson's girlfriend, in order to be in exchange with him, since he provided a roof over her head and whatever, was to give him what he wanted when he wanted, of a sexual nature. The irony there is that the only reason she wasn't working is because Danny Masterson didn't want her to work. She was a successful working model, making her own money. And she stopped doing that because Danny wanted her to, and then used the fact that she wasn't working as the excuse why she had to give him whatever, he wanted whenever he wanted it. So yeah, the term out exchange, this is a perfect example of Scientology testimony that has been permitted in this case in great detail. So yeah, good looking out there, Jerry. Okay, next one here. Any more tea on your South African friend? John, the vague one. Yes, much more tea, but I'm going to give it its own dedicated video. If I'm not too tired, I'll do it later tonight. Otherwise, I'm going to save it for tomorrow. But believe me, we got more coming on that. Percy Kersey, love it. Thank you for being such a light to the world, You're a very valuable person. Oh, thank you so much. Speaking of light, let's lighten the mood. If you were a sandwich, which kind would you be and why? I would say either chicken salad and egg salad, because they are both delicious, healthy, high in protein, and easy to eat. And I like sandwiches that are served cold. So there you go. I don't even eat those a lot. I just happen to love them. Oh, we got Mark Headley, blown for good. Aaron has found his calling. He should cover all the new Scientology cases that are coming up. Honestly, I really should. By the way, speaking of which, Gary Cardone is going. Wait, I got to double check this. Yes. I am expecting Gary Cardone to be prosecuted in a Tampa courthouse. You might go, oh my God, is he facing criminal charges? Not yet, but you're going to find out soon why some are almost certainly coming. Three of Gary Cardone's clients have all pled guilty and cooperated with the authorities. They are unquestionably rolling over on Gary. Anyway, there's so much more to come on this. Can you imagine me covering a Cardone trial in a Tampa federal courthouse? Oh my God. It's going to be delicious. Okay, Gia Falcone. Aaron, your girls are so lucky to have an amazing dad who calls out the predators of women and girls without fear and stands up for the truth. Wish my parents or anyone else had the guts to do that when I was abused. Well, I'm really sorry to hear that, Gia. But I'll tell you, Scientology has dug its own grave, and I'm going to throw all those child predators right into it. The fact that they, their own policies and procedures have created an environment and a situation and a set of circumstances where someone like me with a platform like mine can call them out and expose them until the end of time. And there's not a goddamn thing they can do about it. So the only thing they really can do about it is stop protecting them all. Once they stop protecting them all, I'll eventually have no more to expose. Do you see how that works? Sometimes doing the right thing is actually the right thing. Thank you, Gia. Okay, I see we have Florida Panhandle Girl. Well, thank you, Florida Panhandle Girl. We have Highest Priestess. Thank you, Highest Priestess. SPTV Tattoo Warrior. I felt awful today. I was trying to put my great nephew into his car seat. He was squirming, and I yelled out, "You are so out ethics right now. You guys have totally poisoned me." Don't do that. Don't do that. We don't say that to each other. That's funny. That's funny that you've watched so many of our videos and picked up so much of the language that you're actually using it. That is really funny. I can imagine you calling people out exchange and then being like, so if you call someone, "Oh, that is so out exchange," and they're like, "What does that mean?" Be like, "Wouldn't you like to know?" Oh my goodness. Elizabeth Holotiak. Thank you, Elizabeth. And Panko, that's an awfully big dollar figure there for just a super sticker, Panko. Go ahead and throw a question or a comment in there next time. But thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Todd Worm. Question. Graham Brewer may still be charged. U.S. law, statutes of limitations are paused when a person flees. Can you ask Zach if this is true? I can. I wouldn't expect that to happen, honestly. I mean, one of the main victims, the victims that I named this morning when I said, "Does the name Amy Walker ring a bell to you?" Someone said, hey, you shouldn't be outing victims. I only said Amy Walker's name because she's not alive anymore. Nothing to do with what I think she died of cancer. And the other victim, I said a girl from Italy. I said some girls from Chicago, girl from California. I'm not outing any victims. But there's honestly probably not enough here to actually prosecute. There just probably truly honestly isn't, as far as like evidence and, all that kind of stuff. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to call him out for it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Apostate Alex would like to, can we have a big welcome to Escaping the Cultiverse A, who joined SPTV today, former exec director, Vancouver org, now speaking out. Well, there you go, guys. Give a big warm welcome to Escaping the Cultiverse A. I kind of like that name. That's nice. All right, let's see. Scrolling down. Once I finish all these, we'll wrap it up. Kat and Maggie, excellent coverage. Are there plans in place to talk to Claire about her testimony once it's done? Oh, well, there's plans in place. I'm not sure if I were Claire, I would talk about it on my own channel first before talking about it on another channel. So it's not like, what I'm not going to do is pounce upon Claire as she leaves the courtroom with a microphone in her face being like, "What are your thoughts, Claire? How did it go? What can you tell SPTV?" I'm sure. And also I'm not actually sure that Claire can talk about her testimony. Like she'll finish her testimony, but the trial won't be done. Claire's going to have to find out at what point she's allowed to talk about it. Because by the way, when Claire finishes testifying, she will still be on call to come back and be recalled to testify later. There's a chance Claire won't be able to talk about it until the trial's over. That's actually probably a safe assumption. Okay, Hopper, do you have an ETA on the live stream with your lawyer friend, Zach? The ETA is going to be whenever I finish this, probably 15 to 20 minutes or 30 minutes after that. I think yesterday I did my stream with him starting at 6:30. That's in 20 minutes from now. But I haven't, Zach and I have already discussed doing a stream tonight, but we haven't actually texted since I left the courthouse. So the answer is somewhere between 20 and 45 minutes after I end this stream. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Okay, scrolling down, trying to find another one. Oh, Cindy's back. It's pronounced Huot. Okay, Cindy Huot. Okay, good. Huot. Cindy Huot. Okay, good. I never take offense for it. I'm French Canadian, so it's not easy if you're not French. It's all good, Aaron. Well, if you're French, then does your name really end in a hard T? Or is it Cindy Huot? I'm overthinking it. I'm sticking with Huot. Thank you, Cindy. It can't be Huot, though. Big dude, no need to read. He will understand. Oh, it was for him. No need to read. He will understand. Brewer. Oh, yeah. Now you're speaking Afrikaans. I see. There you go. All right. Lori plays. Oh, I'll be sitting in that Tampa courtroom next to you. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. All right, guys. Oh my goodness, we got more. Matrix Tech Solutions with the super sticker. Love you. Love seeing you in here, Matrix Tech Solutions. Tracy Robertson, Tracy.ace. Learned behavior. I don't know. Are you talking about Graham? I think you're talking about Graham. Let's see. Sarowin. Thanks much for giving us the download on this trial. I watch you LawTube people a lot, and you're doing as well or better because you don't know the law and are more like a juror. Does your daughter in your outro still sing? You know, she doesn't sing publicly and openly and all the time like she used to. As she got older, she got a little more shy and insecure, and she entering her teenage years now. So, she used to just sing everywhere and all the time. She's a little embarrassed about her outro. I've asked her if she wanted to re-record it, and she says no. But I'm gonna, I'll have to get her to redo it eventually. She's 12 years old now. She's probably 4 in that video. Okay, Travis Bowman. Danny Masterson has a Fifth Amendment right to refuse to testify. Fine. Instead, he should be made to use a demo kit to show he understands that it's a bad idea to drop the soap in the prison shower. Oh, yeah. He will definitely be demoing that. PDD. I'll see you there on Friday. Awesome. I'm in the process of canceling all of my meetings. Fantastic. I will see you there on Friday. I'm looking forward to it. By the way, court might actually be starting a little later on Friday. I think it might be 10:30. I'll do a schedule update. I'll let you guys know tomorrow. Let me see. Kendallings, you're so entertaining. Did you smile and enjoy yourself as much at any time when you worked for Scientology? Actually, yes. Yes. My personality has been pretty consistent throughout my, I guess when I was a child, I was somewhat shy and sort of, shy. Early on in Scientology, I became very outgoing. What you see now is like, I've been pretty much the same person since I was about 14 or 15 years old. So I know there's a lot of horror stories about the Sea Org, and I've got plenty of my fair share, but there's a lot of humor and levity to be had in the Sea Org. There's an awful lot of hours in the day, and you can only be miserable for so many of them. You know what I'm saying? Jacob Harkey. We learned that the Scientology chaplain played a role in the terms of Jane Doe 3's breakup with Masterson. Is this typical for breakups or only when a celebrity is involved? This is a conversation. This is a perfect conversation for me to have with Nora Ames, who worked at the Celebrity Center. Because in the video I did yesterday, one of the things I pointed out is that is not normal. But when I say not normal, I'm talking about the normal Scientology experience. Maybe that is normal at the Celebrity Center for celebrities. I just don't know why the chaplain is doing it instead of someone in the president's office. I feel like there's something bigger to understand here, or something deeper to understand here. And I think Nora will be able to help me understand it. So stay tuned. You won't be able to miss it. Me and Nora will almost certainly do a chat on this. By the way, Nora's doing her own update videos about the Danny Masterson trial that are fantastic. And she's by the way, Nora Ames, by the way, on YouTube, if you go, Oh No Nora is the name of her channel. She's broken like 4,000 subscribers, and she's very quickly about to hit her 4,000 watch hours to qualify for monetization. So check out Nora's channel at Oh No Nora, and we'll almost certainly do a stream on this together. If not before the weekend, definitely on the weekend when, court's not in session. I've got a little more time on my hands. Holy shit, Jonathan Ryder, keep on keeping on. So generous, Jonathan. That's a big boy super sticker right there. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. SP Tattoo Warrior. Do not be surprised if I show up for a couple court days. Oh, I hope you do. We really could use some more people in there, honestly. Look, I'm not going. I do like to be able to stretch out my legs and stretch out my arms, but more people showing up will not prevent me from doing that because y'all aren't allowed to sit in the media row. Only us esteemed, distinguished journalists are allowed to sit in the back row. So, you know, everyone else can pile in there and I'll still be able to stretch out a little bit. All right, everyone. Wow, 40 minutes. That's not normal for an update video. Stay tuned, guys. My stream with Zach is coming up. I will let him know that his official name is my attorney friend, Zach Morgan. Hit that like button if you haven't already, guys. It helps me out. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed yet. And I'll talk to you guys soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right here. Bye.